afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our third installment of our Data Power webinar series. My name is Kailash, and together with my colleagues Ismail and Adisa, we'll be your facilitators today. In this series, we hope to spark your imagination on how you can use data and data-related technologies to drive better strategic and operational decision-making, as well as also improve the productivity through real-world examples. Our speaker today is Mr. Terence Pancho, IT and Administrative Manager at Denovo Energy, and he's here. My name is Kailash, Digital Transformation Ismail and Adisa. As usual, if you do have any questions, please type them in the chat, and we'll be sure to bring them to his attention after the presentation. So without
Yes, no, sure, not bad.
and just a reminder to share with audio, Terence.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today. I'm going to chat with you a little bit about digital transformation and how it has been a significant part of the Denovo story. So to start, I'd like to go with a little bit about myself. So I'm Terence Pancho. I'm the IT and Administration Manager for Denovo. I've been at Denovo for 4 years, and I've spent 18 years in the industry. It's been a journey. It's been one where I've been in many different roles, and it's been one that has shaped me into who I am. The Denovo journey, though, has really continued to excite me, and I'm very, very amazed at what we've been able to achieve in the short time that we've been around. So I would like to speak a little bit about Denovo. Denovo was founded in 2016 officially, and it's a company that was founded to provide an additional supply of gas to the Point Lisas industrial estate. We are a subsidiary of Proman AG, which is the second largest methanol producer in the world. Now, people may want to know, what do we stand for? And our principles are very simple. We operate at best in class for HSE. What does that mean? That means that we always want to see people home safely. We want to make sure that we are one of the lowest cost operators while having the highest reliability. We want to make sure that we use local content. And local content means supporting people who are doing things within our local economy. And finally, we want to leverage technology in all its many different forms to ensure that we are as efficient as possible. So I would like to show a video on Denovo and what we've achieved over the last couple of years. Now, as this video finishes, what I would really like to describe to you is what we've done. This image here shows us the facility that we've built. We've delivered the platform that you saw a little while ago. That platform is completely unmanned, and we run that from our facility here. That is what we've been able to achieve using technology. I'd also like to speak about the company that we are a subsidiary of, Promon. Promon is the second largest producer of methanol in the world. They are top 10 in fertilizer production, and they own a number of plants, own and operate a number of plants across the world. So they've made this investment in us to continue to ensure that the country has a gas supply. So now, bringing this forward is really around our discussion around technology and what it is. For me, technology is very simple. People have different concepts of what it is, but technology is not just having a computer, having a laptop, connecting it to something. It's grown. It's now moved into a realm where people cannot do without technology. We cannot live a day now like how we used to live 15 or 20 years ago. And you'd see it with kids, you'd see it with everyone else, how technology really shapes your life. Imagine a life without things like streaming video or social media or WhatsApp. That is where technology really fits into this space. There is a reason that I'm asking you why or what is a change. A change is when you move from one state into another, and that there is always a transitionary period. And when we think about this applies directly to digital transformation. Digital transformation is a change, and it's one that is critical for all of us to understand. So digital transformation follows these 5 basic steps, and that is to digitalize documents, organize your content, automate, streamline, and transform. What does that mean to you? Why is this necessary? For me, looking at what we're able to do now and what has been done in the past, it's amazing to see where we've come. It's really around bringing value to your organization. And bringing value to your organization comes in many ways. But the major way is how do we operate more efficiently? And that is what digital transformation allows us to do. So we may ask, how is digital transformation important? A study here shows by Accenture of what some Fortune 500 CEOs said was a direct impact of technology on their company. And when you look at this, these are no longer where they used to be. These used to be less than 20% 10 years ago. Now look where they are. And this study was done in 2019. And there are new studies coming out that have shown that these numbers have constantly been on the rise because more and more businesses understand where this is important and how do I optimize my business to really get the most out of it. As we go forward, we would like to look at the life cycle for digital transformation. And digital transformation has some basic concepts in it. It's around looking at what you have, which is building. It is about understanding how do we now change that process using technology to make us into a better operator. And then the cycle continues. When we say reinvent productivity, it means that we have reached a state where, we have seen an increase in efficiencies. We've seen an optimization of your operations. We've seen products that you used to sell before transform. But the cycle is continuous. It's one where there's no stopping. There's no saying that I've reached the final step in this process and it's done. It's one where we now have to relook and retune and continuously learn and understand how this is changing and how these changes can affect the bottom line for our companies. Now we may ask ourselves, a lot of companies hear about digital transformation and they believe that, you know what, I'm just going to say, I'm going to just go and use Office 365. Or I need to take a server that I have and put it in the cloud. That is not what this is. Digital transformation is really around you understanding what that process is. What is your end state that you are seeing and why you're doing it. If not, then there's no reason for you to do it if there's no understanding. So I'll give you a classic example of this. The Disney, when we looked at it 20 years ago, 20 to 30 years ago, Disney used to animate cartoons using actual artists. So they would manually draw and update and do those things. Do you know that Disney has changed that model? Disney is now using computer animations to create those same cartoons that we all know and love. And it's something that's amazing, where they're now able to retool and do different things and understand that this is the way forward. They have made a choice, and to them, it has been the better choice, looking at their current success in that market. So we ask ourselves, why did Disney do this? Or why would a company do this? And I mean, it falls into 5 different buckets for me. You have greater efficiency, you have higher productivity, you're sustainable, you're now going to meet that carbon challenge, which is critical for us all. We must also understand that safety is critical. And part of the digital transformation process, depending on how you apply it, is around safety of your persons or safety of staff, safety of people, safety of equipment. And it allows people that space to understand that you're safe where you are and that we are using systems, automated systems, to protect you. And the last thing, of course, the return on investment. There must be a return for this to be successful. At the end of the day, we understand that digital transformation, it can be expensive, but it depends on how you look at it and what is your holistic plan to achieve it. So for me, I'd like to show where has it been successful. I mean, Denovo Energy is an excellent example, and it's close to my heart. Denovo is a low-cost operator with minimal cost, and minimal overhead cost. And when I say that, we operate an offshore platform with no one on it. So that is one. We operate a plant facility and a head office with, again, a smaller group of staff. And it shows where we've used technologies in all facets of our business, from production, reporting, from looking at people, how we manage how we manage their different HR related items. We look at it from COVID-19 and how that has transformed how people actually work. So for me, in Denovo, digital transformation has been very successful. When I tell you the CEO at that point in time made a decision on a Monday to say all staff that don't need to be at work when COVID just hit Trinidad need to go home. And he asked me a question. He said, do you think the staff can function at home? I said, yes. There's nothing that they can't do here, that they can do here, that they can't do at home. And that is where it was amazing to our staff for them to transition. Within 4 hours, our main office was cleared and everybody was home and functional. This is where digital transformation and the strategy utilized was successful. I mean, I have other examples here, but I won't spend too much time on them. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the Dinovo journey and why we are here where we are right now. So this is a very busy slide. But for us, the vision for Denovo has always been about increasing business efficiencies through automation and data management. And we do look at that. We do look at every process that we have and say, why is this not automated? Why is there not something that I can do here? Why? And that is the major question. Data management is also critical. If we didn't have our data management strategy in place that we do right now, reporting for us, given the amount of reporting we have to do in the current sector, would be tremendous and it would require a huge team. What have we done? We've looked at platforms and methods in which we can review this data and provide proper reports for persons. And these reports are all automated. So people, they can use it at any point in time. They can manage it. They can look at it. They can manipulate it in any way they want. So for me, that overall strategy has been something that has really worked for us. So based on the strategy, and bear in mind, this is what it looks like. And 2021 plus, our goal is to streamline and transform. That is where we are right now. And it took quite a bit of work over the years because we delivered a platform and a plant on a 47-kilometer pipeline in 2018 and got that plant up and running. And as it stands now, we've had an extremely high reliability rating. We've had an excellent safety rating. So we've been able to do it. In 2020, when COVID hit, that didn't stop us. It just forced us to work from home, but it allowed our systems allowed us that flexibility. So what have we done? And you can see on the left the 5 points that I have there. Our initial phase was digitizing our documents. And that was huge, but it was something that we started with. So we placed everything in our central repository on SharePoint. We started then looking at how do we organize this? Because you're talking about pre-construction, construction, post-construction, where there are many different things that happen, many different versions of documents. So we decided then that we needed to develop and implement a document management strategy. The third thing, and this third thing has been ongoing since step one, we've always looked at what processes can we automate. And we've looked at this. We've put our reporting mechanisms on Power BI Intelligent Apps has helped us a great deal in this regard, but it's really around looking at the processes, and all companies need to look at it and understand. One of these that stands out to me is the Procure To Pay process, and that is a process that's completely electronic for us. So that is something that, it's there, it's working, it has been working for the last 3 years. Streamlined processes, we continue to look at what we have and what we understand. We understand where reporting is, and we understand how to fine tune it. So we continue to look at what within our own data warehouse that we have, and what do we need to do to make sure that we can continue to smooth these over and make them better. So this is a continuous cycle. And the transformation of processes is really around looking at our data now. We have now a couple of years of data. How do we now look at another vessel to take us through and to give us the options that we may not be seeing? And these are things that we're actively looking at. We've started this process, and we continue to look at this data and look at solutions to transform this into something that is usable, will help us with our reliability, will help us in better decision making. So this step 5 is one that is very broad, because we're now taking the time to fully understand what is out there. And I mean, this slide is ready to show everyone what we've done and the things that have put together this puzzle. So for document management and for day-to-day operations, we use Office 365. We use Adobe. We actually have processes built in Adobe to allow us to do electronic signatures and route them to people. So we continue with our paperless vision. And that is a strategy that has not left us. For process management, we continue to use the Office suite, but we use Power BI, we use Power Apps to push that and allow us that ability to have those things in a format that can really be used and easy to use. Streamline and Transform. This is where it's something that we're still learning, but we're almost there. We have our data stored in the cloud. We do have our AWS data warehouse. We do have an Azure data structure. We've used products like AspenTech online to look at our plant or facility, look at the data and understand where we are, what do we need to do, and where can we apply predictive to. So for me, this is very critical for us. All the products that you see here, with the exception of Aspen, are cloud-based solutions. And that is where we've applied our cloud-native strategy. We were allowed to do it. Again, we were greenfield. We were now starting up. It is a little bit different for persons who are in brownfield and have a company running, but it's not impossible. And that's what a lot of companies need to understand. They need to understand the efficiencies that they may be missing. This slide, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but this is exactly what I said before. And this is where it shows what are the benefits. And the benefits are you can pick any one of these and understand where it saves you. So I'll give you an easy one. It secures critical documents. So we use SharePoint. SharePoint is fairly secure depending on how you set it up. It's very secure. It allows us to manage those documents by permissions. It also allows us to track if there are different variations to that document. And that is very critical. People don't understand that version management is something that can get out of hand quickly if you don't manage it. And we have that built into a system that gives us that ability. So it's something for me that I would like people to see and understand that this is just part of what this digital transformation has done for Denovo. From a technology standpoint, while we've always looked ahead, we need some data to show what we've actually done. And for me, I sit here very proudly to say that we've had a great deal of success in this. From looking at plant automation, we've been able to remotely manage a platform. We've been able to use a SaaS model that has provided us with 99.9% reliability. We've had the ability to provide regulatory and internal reports through our Power BI platform. We've had the ability to automate 90% of our processes and to create that paperless environment that we want to go to. And looking at this paperless environment, I mean, I'll give you an example within the organization. I've had a printer that came off lease after 4 years, and that the vendor didn't want to sell us the printer because it was only 20% utilized over that period from what a regular customer would use. So that just goes to show what we've been able to do. We've received 99.9% reliability rating on a microwave link that we designed between that goes across around 47 kilometers to the platform to communicate and keep that lifeline up. And we've been able to use AI for different areas: cybersecurity, inventory, and reliability. Now, as a company, technology has played a major part. And what has this done for us? And I'll pick the big ones, right? We've had over 2 million man hours without a lost time incident. We are one of the highest, if not the highest, we've had the highest on-stream factor compared to any other upstream company within Trinidad and Tobago. That's 99.8%. We've delivered a project, and I'm talking about from concept to actually flowing gas, 3 months. And we're on target to deliver a new platform in the first quarter of next year that is completely powered by renewable energy. And that is a very strong statement, especially in the current market. And that platform will also be remotely managed. From a technology standpoint, we believe in digital transformation. We understand the concept, and we really would tell people, look at it. If you don't, it could have some not so great issues for you as other companies utilize it to become more efficient. For our financial team, we've been able to track budgets, ensure that we've managed this and reported on it in an efficient manner. And we've been able to have remote audits, which is something that not many companies can really. We've completed all our audits for this year and for last year, and they've all been done remotely. And from a supply chain perspective, we've had quick turnaround for purchases, and we have an automated Procure To Pay process, which really gives us that edge. So what are the next steps in my journey here? The next steps for me, or for Denovo, is looking at step 5 and step 6. How do we continue that? Because the goal, of course, is to always chase the carrot, and that carrot is efficiency. And to do that, we need to continue to live within that realm of 5 and 6. At the end of the day, if we don't, and we believe that we've done it all, then it doesn't make sense. All right, so I've spoken for quite some time now, so I'm willing to probably take some questions now. Any questions?
Terence, there was a request if you could just go back and show the slide with what products were used.
Sure.
I believe it was about 3 slides below this. I know it came from Ron. I don't know if Ron, you had a follow-up question. If you do, you could just raise your hand and I'll unmute you. All right. In the meantime, Terence, what a question I have for you. So we know that quite often people say digital transformation is beyond just technology, right? It is also about the culture of the organization. And I guess you all have a very strong culture of digital, the digital mindset within Denovo. Are there any sort of tips or recommendations you would make of how to cultivate that or create that culture within an organization, create and sustain a culture like that within our organization, or any lessons learned?
No, definitely. I mean, the thing with Denovo is that we've had that culture inbred in us, and it's something that was basically sold to us by our CEO, and continues as we move forward. The CEO or the MD, whoever, they continue to drive that forward. And it's allowing the management or leadership team to understand what that is and how we utilize that. It allowed us to have that culture shift, because in a startup like Denovo, what happened was that we had people from many different backgrounds come in, and everybody knew how to use different things. To get everybody on board took us some time, but it really made the process better, because we allowed people that ability to contribute and to have buy-in to this process. And that was driven straight from the top. And if it's not driven from there, then you would see that these types of projects don't really work.
Good. Thanks again, Terence. Just one thing, you're sharing the notes, not the slide itself. If you just switch that. And also, thanks once again for highlighting something that we also have observed in all our consultancy, that if the digital transformation is not driven from the top, or I say when it's driven from the top, it is much more likely to be successful, highly likely to be successful. So again, I would invite any more questions from our audience at this point in time. Okay, Ron from the audience has asked, what other solution from the Power Platform has been used? I guess this is beside Power BI.
Oh, well, we've used Power Automate. So we've used the entire suite of products that is available to us. So we've looked at it, and as they've improved, as years have gone by with the Microsoft suite, it has transformed how we have the ability and what abilities we can do with them. I mean, for me, the Office the Office and the Microsoft platform is one where it is critical to us. And we've seen it grow and really grown to understand, sometimes not love everything that they do, but it's something that has supported us throughout this process.
All right, I see Ron is also typing another question here. In the meantime, while we're waiting, another thing is that Denovo generally, I think, as you were saying, is 90-something% all on the cloud. Right. I know that a lot of, while cloud is becoming more and more popular, there's probably still a little bit of hesitancy, especially in terms of the payment model where you sort of pay as you consume. You have any tips about managing that? Because most people are most likely with the mindset, I have a budget, but with the cloud, you're kind of unsure what that may be. So I don't know if you have any tips there.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, what we've done is that we've understood where we are, and you really need to build what you're doing around what those products can give you. So what has happened and what I've seen with other implementations is that there's a carte blanche approach where everybody needs licenses to do everything. And that was not the approach that we took in Denovo. What we did was that we closely structured who needed what. And then we started to understand what were the costs attached to this. To this day, we've still applied that approach where not everyone needs this. Does somebody really need access? Or is it a nice to have? And that is something that, I've gotten numerous requests and I've had to ask the question to say, well, guys, is this absolutely needed? There's a cost attached to this. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. In this model, with a subscription model, there is a cost attached to it.
Right. Ronald again was asking, what about your user adoption? Was that a problem? Did you have any challenges there that you needed to overcome?
Definitely. User adoption was, as I said before, everyone came from different backgrounds. They came from large companies, they came from smaller companies, and everyone's concept was different. But it took the top leadership and it took the supervisory team a long time to push it out to people. But it was constant. And it was something where we got them involved in the process. We got all the users to touch, feel, understand, and contribute to how that end product turned out. And that is where I think the major buy-in came in. It wasn't like we were just saying, listen, this is a solution, here's this product, you need to start to use it from tomorrow. It wasn't that. We didn't have extended timelines to give them the longest period of time to adopt it. But it's something that we also managed and allowed each manager to really push it within their team and allowed the executive team to really help and manage if there were issues. So that would be the approach. You need the customer buy-in for these types of transformations to be successful.
All right, great. So at this point in time, I know we're running a little bit 10 minutes over time, but any more questions from the audience? If not, we'd just like to say, first of all, thank you, Terence, for this wonderful presentation and all the insights you've given. There's a lot of lessons in there. There are a lot of things that people could take and help to use in their organizations to drive their processes forward. In Parton, we have pasted in the chat just a feedback form. If you would just please it will take less than a minute to give us your feedback on how we could help improve future sessions. So Terence, once again, thank you very much. And thank you to the audience for attending. Right. We look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
You too. Everybody have a great evening, everyone. Take care.